Good morning. 12:29 after 10. Look at this place. It's chilly. Ground's wet because they hosed it or whatever, but a little chilly this morning. It's a cool, clear, wonderful Southern California day, as always. It's me in this time of year. It's not too bad. Waiter just asked me if I was cold. I said, it's a little chilly. Last night was cold. So, let's see. Let's do the boop. And welcome. Today is not going to be an epic Dave and epic Beard and Dave day. We're just going to do a Dave. And that's me, Dave Besaw, formerly of Anaheim, California, graduate of Buena Park High School, man about the inner universe of his own mind, and confidant to many. And I just wanted to say this because we're winding down. We're winding up 2018. It's been a year. We lost a few celebrities. I say that not because, I'm kind of pro. I'm not really pro celebrity, but these were some were older, some were fine actors and actresses, talented artists. There were writers and others, and like Stan Lee. So to lose somebody is to lose a piece of ourselves, our culture, our you could say country. You could also say the world in a nutshell. Some of the things they brought. It's interesting. I wish they would post more about. I guess there's maybe not that many famous physicists or chemists, but that's probably because they don't get the press that the others get. I don't know. It's been a year. It's been a year. Interesting to say that on the 29th of December. It's been a very interesting year. Things have come and gone. The world has changed slightly again, as it always does, as it snowballs forth through space. The knowledge that when I was a little kid, when I was in, I think, elementary school, or maybe it was junior high, NASA and the United States government launched 2 space probes to look at a couple of our planets in our solar system, but with a continued mission that they would last. They are all knew mathematically that these things they weren't coming back, and if they ran on these trajectories, and they would end up leaving our solar system. And dear God, how many years later? 50, 55, 60 years. Think about that. Half a century. And they're now, I think one is in the heliosphere, which is the outer edges of our solar system. And one who's gone beyond that is actually in open space. And they're still sending back messages. They've completely outlived their project life and their expected life, life expectancy, and they're hurtling out there, and they're still sending us messages, and we will be receiving messages well into 2019 and 2020, and for a few more years. They say it takes a while for them to get here, but we will know by that when we lose telemetry that their batteries have wore out or whatever happened. We will never know what happened to them. We will assume probably that their batteries ran out. But they could have collided into something. They could have been absconded by an alien life force, or well, a non-earthly life force. And they're listening to the records and studying the diagrams, and they may come and visit us, and God knows what'll happen then. But that's something interesting to know that I this year I was kind of curious about. Every now and then, just to remind myself, because I can never remember it, I look up the speed of the Earth's rotation. Hi, Barbara. Go Irish. Yes, it's Notre Dame playing. Good to hear from you. Good to see you post. I'm always happy when somebody posts during one of these. Anyways, we're just winding it down. Like this is that period of reflection after Christmas, and I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas. Mark Hirsch, hi Dave from Ohio. Do you know what Ohio is? It's round on both ends and high in the middle. Always knew that from when I was a little kid, because my grandfather was, on my dad's side, was from Ohio. He's from Akron. And my uncle, his brother, and one of his sisters were born in Ohio. They moved to Ardmore, Oklahoma, many, many years later, where my dad was born. And, my mother used to tell me, because she was from Erie, Pennsylvania. And so, I've been to Ohio a few times. I've been to Cleveland, believe it or not. I'm willing to openly admit, as a native California, do I want to tag Mark Ames? Yeah, I'll tag him. Yeah, hold the phone. Hold the phone. Tagged. So we visited there. I had a cousin and her husband that lived in Ohio with their kids, and we visited them. And they lived in Cleveland. Never saw the Indians play. Never did a lot of things, I've been to the Baseball Hall of Fame. Woohoo! So, but I've been to Erie twice, and during those times we slipped through Ohio and whatnot. I've been to quite a few states. I'm not going to tell you my favorite. That was a long, long time ago. I think the last time I was that far east, well, that's not necessarily true. The last time I was in the Northeast was been there. Was in when I was 16. It was helped my mother drive a Volkswagen van from Anaheim, California to Stockton to pick up her sister, and from there we crossed the northern plains into Ohio and Pennsylvania. And we went through New York. My mother had met or knew of some cousins of my dad who lived in Walpole, Massachusetts, so we went to Massachusetts, and I got to go to Boston and stand on the deck of the USS Constitution. And you've been there, eh? Been to Cleveland, have you? Or Erie? It's a strange name. Right on the lake. I was there once with my dad and my brothers and mother, and that was when the lake was alive. And I think the second time I was there, I don't know if they considered the lake alive or had been brought back to life. It's a shame. I have a great respect for all of the Great Lakes because of that, from my visits from to Ohio and Pennsylvania. My grandfather was on that side was a boiler operator and a steam fitter. And growing up, I guess he'd been a fisherman. And his brother and a couple of his nephews were going out one night. I guess it was during the Depression or whatever. And my grandfather would go with them at times to get fish. And for the extra money, and plus, it actually literally puts some food on the table. But he decided not to go because I think one of the kids was sick, or my grandmother wasn't feeling well or whatnot, and he said no, he couldn't go. And on a beautiful night, weather was clear and whatever, and they got out on the lake, and somewhere out on the lake, a storm opened up, and he lost his brother and two of his nephews that night. So that's one of the reasons why I have a great respect for the Great Lakes, because they're so big, and you can get out there in the middle of them somewhere, and it could be just as charming and beautiful as hell in back on land, but you get out, a few miles out, and it can turn into a hurricane or whatnot, and you could, and things shit happens. So let's use that language. Let's stay with modern terminology. Anyways, end of year. We are at the end of the year, and I think it's time to sort of add up some of our accomplishments and our failures. The interesting thing about it, and I'd like to share that, if storms do pop up on those lakes, yeah, they do, bro. But I think it's interesting to note that, while we discuss our successes and we add our failures, it's a good thing to add the failures, because it just goes to say, you're trying, you're doing. You can sit back and comment all you want, and you can watch, and you can be that armchair quarterback. But even if you fail, you did something. We went to, my son and I one year went to a World Superbike up in Monterey, and that year there was this guy. This is an American. I think he was a local guy who had made the field. He made the start. He made the 110% rule or something like that, where you have to be within that much of the qualifying time to actually even still be on the grid. If you fall under that, you're off. And the poor guy was he was out there riding, and he was getting lapped during the races, and I think he finished last in both of them. But the weird thing is as one guy, my son was saying something, and this guy commented about it, and he goes, the one thing that was different between him and I, and him and them, and was he was on the racetrack. He wasn't the best. He was doing his best, but he was out there on the racetrack doing it against some of the finest riders in the world. And he was on two wheels, pushing as hard as he could. Definitely pushing as hard as he could. And so you gotta kind of like that, You gotta say, go, man, go. Christmas, let's talk a little bit Christmas, my son came over Christmas Eve. His mom's got this thing about Christmas Day. It's something we've been at odds on through our entire, let's say, relationship of raising this kid, and our joint custody agreement, and how she would sort of manipulate it. But let's put it this way. Never have I had my son at home, or I had been at home at the same time when he woke up for Christmas Day. Never woke up Christmas Day in my custody or in my home. He would always come over later. If I was supposed to have him Christmas Day, he would come over a little bit later. If I had him on Christmas Eve, she'd show up and say, well, he's supposed to be at my house tomorrow, so I'm picking him up now. And she'd like 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and she'd show up. But my son came over Christmas Eve, and I made a ham in his honor. And you guys go, oh, so what? He says, well, you know what? All my life, I cook. I don't cook too bad. I'm not too bad. Some of it's processed, but I've always kind of cooked since I was a kid. God bless Boy Scouts, and God bless a mother who worked and in order to to help feed and to help around the house, you cook. And if you want something to eat yourself and you're there and everyone's asleep or whatever, and you're just getting off work late, you cook for yourself. If you're out living even with roommates or whatever, you either eat fast food or you cook yourself. Yeah, I'm kind of simple: eggs, bacon, French toast, pancakes. I've got some other recipes up my sleeve, but 3 years ago, I cooked my very first roast turkey. And to me, that's a big deal. I know to many, especially women, it's like, oh, no worries. But from them, I got a lot of support. And this year, and my son was never over at Thanksgiving those first 2 years. But I said, I got to do something about this, and I got a hold of him and said, look, dude, you got to come over. I said, okay. And he told me what his mom was doing or whatever, so it's no big deal. I said, okay, I understand if your mom was cooking a turkey, you couldn't make it. But he made it that year, and he, the third turkey was better than the second turkey, and the first turkey was a lot better, almost as good as the third, maybe better. So the second one was a down year. The first and third ones were good years. Good years for turkey. So this year I decided, well, he was over, and I said, why don't you come over for Christmas? So I called him a few weeks back, and I said, why can you come over for Christmas dinner? Would it be Christmas dinner or Christmas Eve dinner or Christmas dinner? And he said, well, Christmas Eve. And so he came over, and we spent some time together. We ran around a little bit, and I got that ham, and it could have come out better, but it came out actually pretty good. I'm not complaining. It wasn't what I wanted. I wanted to do a canned ham like my mom used to do, and because they're kind of easy. Maybe next year I'll get a canned ham, be able to think it through. I realized where I was going, and I don't carry them. So, we enjoyed the ham, and still got a little left over. I think it's going to be going in the trash here soon. I've got some right now, but come back. So I love it. I mean, I find that even at my age now, especially my age now, I love to cook, and I've got this thing about the family deal. It all ages back to. I talked to my son about it when my dad was alive, and how every Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, a lot of Christmas days. My mom would cook a big canned ham, and we'd have a feast. And her sister that lived down here would come, and her brother, one of her brothers or both her brothers, if they were both down here, would come to the house. And sometimes one of them would bring a couple of his kids. His youngest kid. I went to her wedding at something like 8 or 9 years old. Okay, get it? That was his youngest, and he and then a couple of his kids would come over. One, especially if they were married or not, or it didn't matter. And my godfather, who lived in L.A., would come over, and we would have this big happy fun time meal. Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, 4th of July barbecue, things like that. The big four, the big three, the big four, whatever you want to call them. And after he passed away, after a couple of years, some of those family moved away, some of them passed away. And over time, it just ended. And by then, I was a young man, a teenager, a young man, whatever, and I didn't see it or feel it, and it just hit me a few years ago, that how much I missed that. And so I'm trying to get it going again. I got my two brothers. My third brother is back east, somewhere in New Jersey or Michigan or something like that, and he he can't make it, but as it is, say something and we're going, yeah, we got it on. It's just I enjoy it. I want to cook some more like that. I wish I had the money, and I'd do a prime rib, a boneless prime rib or whatever. I came across the recipe for it. It's a herb and butter boneless prime rib that you do in the oven. You roast in the oven, and it looks delicious. I'd like to get a smoker. I'd like to do a smoked turkey. I'd like to do a smoked ham or a smoked pork butt or a prime rib or whatnot. I do all the ribs, beef and pork. So I don't know. It's just I do enjoy kind of cooking, but I don't want to do it just for myself or one or two people. I would like to try to do it for more people. Maybe there's an ego thing there because I'm always like, if you cook and you've done this, you probably sit there on pins and needles, chomping on the bit. Do you like it? Is it okay? So anyways, that was how we ended. We're ending 2018. I gotta get a hold of a friend of mine. I think maybe he wants to go shooting, and I think I'm just gonna say yes and get out and get out in the desert and waste some ammo, and then I'm trying more often to stay closer in touch with old friends. The good ones. They say you got. Someone once told me when I was in junior high, I think it was, somebody's sister said, you get one or two best friends, good friends, close friends in your life, and which is great. And if you get a third one, it's like almost a miracle. Well, at one point, I think I could have added that up to 4 or maybe 5, but some have come and gone, and others, and I got it back here not too long ago. I started a few months ago, especially someone I haven't talked to or seen since, I believe, my mom's funeral back in '99. And I think I went to a party at his house a year or two later. There was that Halloween. So, but I had lost contact, and I reestablished it, and I want to kind of keep it going. And then there's this one we want to go shooting. He's another one. I could consider him a best friend. There was one from junior high and high school. I don't know if anybody knew Mike Williams. We were kind of tight for a while, and I guess he's up in Sacramento now or something like that. I think somebody told me. But I wouldn't mind getting in touch with him and talking to him. Maybe trying to, perpetuate that. You never know. I mean, there's something that keeps popping up on Facebook that I truly believe in. Is a true friend, a true best friend is somebody that you can go years without talking to, and when you run into them or you contact them and you talk to them, it's like yesterday. That's the spirit of friendship, that kind of friendship. There are others that people that I would have called friends back then, that if I encounter or whatever, I don't know if I'm all that great to see them. I'm polite and whatever. Say, yeah, we did this and we did that. But you really want to maintain the relationship with them, and I'm sure that goes for me as well, from their side. Get a good kick out of seeing where I'm at, what I look like, and whatnot, and then just enjoy the joke. I can't speak for everybody. But, I don't know. 2018, I think, is a changing year for me. And I think 2019 is going to be a very, very interesting year. Very interesting year. We'll see what's happening. I'm, of course, as you can see, overweight, hairy-faced, and just old. My companionship and relationship odds are truly, truly poor. Fred Flintstone's got a better chance of winning the Kentucky Derby, and he's imaginary. So, who knows? Who knows? Who knows what tomorrow has? Who knows what tomorrow offers? I could lay down tonight. I could take a nap, or I could lay down tonight, and that'll be the last anyone hears of me. Who knows? I hope not. I haven't geared my my childlike son to that. Hey, what's up? I was going to ask you about the long table, but I guess the group had already been here.
Yeah. Bye.
Because for some reason I thought, oh, does this mean the church ladies are going to be here?
Oh no, church ladies like to sit outside.
Yeah, but it's cold.
But they don't like to disturb people inside. That's
No.
why guys don't eat inside either.
That's why they take all the chairs.
Yeah.
The guys don't.
No, they don't, but they want to sit over there sometimes.
They
In
take
the
all the
sun.
ones around here too, yeah.
Yeah. No, it was a family that came in.
Yep. So, enjoy. That's the waitress. She's cool. So, this is a good example of why I don't seem to be, was never really a popular person in school. I have trouble with people's names. I remember as a kid in elementary school for many, many years being introduced to somebody and turning around and going to answer a question and having to ask them their name right after they introduced themselves and asked me the question. And I would have to do that a dozen times just in that conversation. And that's just... you know what? People love that you remember their name, and they will endear themselves to you if they remember your name. If not, you're a jerk. A dick. So, I don't know. It's not that I was an egotist. My brain's weird. I had trouble with that, but remembered, weird little details about the Spanish-American Revolution, or Spanish-American War. And, what a dummy. And to anybody out there from Orange Thorpe Elementary School in the 60s through Nicholas in the 70s and high school in the 70s that witnessed me do that to them, please accept my sincerest apologies. Who knows, I probably even liked you, really, really liked you and wanted to get to know you better, and yet I was a doof and committed that sin. Looks like everybody's quieted down. Barbara may be gone, Mark may be gone, but yeah, I like you guys. I think I need to go. I think I'm pushing 30 minutes or more. I don't like to do that. I think some of the better YouTube videos are 15 to 20 minutes long, though I do watch a lot of machine shop stuff and things like that. So, yeah, it's hard to get something decent in 15 minutes or so, and unless it's really, really simple and real quick. So, to everyone out there, have a safe and sane New Year's. Bless you all. Stay healthy, and remember that if nobody does, I love you. Okay, Whether you got lots of friends or not, I still love you. It's a philosophy of mine. We'll get into in 2019. And for that, I wish you a happy, prosperous, and adventurous 2019. And FYI, adventures isn't always bad. There's more good in adventure than it is in bad. But yes, an adventurous 2019. And with that, let us go over here to the camera and to the phone where it says finish. And we're going to finish. Okay. Finish. I'm pressing the button with my thumb. Finish. Danish. Danish. Maybe I should try Portuguese.